When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Napick from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Napick.
And welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you again for joining us on yet another radio adventure. Whether you're listening right here in Houston, Texas, Cypress, Texas, the Woodlands, Memorial, Montana, Dana Point, California, one of my favorite places to travel to, by the way. We're glad you joined us. So we have a lot of guests, a lot of great content for you today. So let's get started right now. We have, and one of the things I say is always, if you're hearing the past shows for the last couple months, stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer. That's right, because there's always great events going on, things like Don't Get Rocked by a Hurricane, and we have one to talk to you about today, right now. I am close to my Stewart Title Business Development Officer, Lynn Riddle, and also she brought a guest. He is Mark Klecka. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
And you know, I say that all the time, Lynn. You guys are doing tremendous work for real estate professionals, not just you, but all the business development officers at Stewart Title all around the city. And you have an event coming up next week that Mark is going to be the main speaker. And let's tell people about that event first, Lynn, and then we're going to find out what Mark does for those that don't know.
Awesome, yeah. Well, you know, Bill, we always try to bring value to our real estate community, and this week or next week we're going to be featuring Mark. He is going to be doing the class How to Get the IRS Off Your Client's Back and Look Like a Hero. And we know that a lot of real estate agents, they wear many hats. One of them is helping them resolve their problems. So Mark's going to be with us, and he's going to go over some really good tips and pointers and just help them navigate those issues with their clients.
Indeed, the real estate professional must have the right team, whether it's the right title company, like Stewart Title,
absolutely,
the right home inspector, and all those things. Mark also has a radio show that's heard every Saturday. You may have already heard his show. It's called Taxing Times on 1070 a.m. every Saturday, 8 o'clock to 9. 8 to 9. You can go to past episodes, Taxing Times. Here he is, the one and only Mark Klecka. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hello, Bill. How are you doing?
You're in the tax world all the time, helping people and businesses every day.
That's right. Things don't just quit on April 15th. Things keep going on and on and on. There's different tax cases going on. There's new issues, and there's some new things. Kevin Brady was even talking about having some new penalties for people who haven't filed tax returns and have increasing penalties for that in a new tax bill. So there's always something going on in Congress or in Washington, and there's always something going on with taxes, and it might impact your life.
That's right. So first of all, let's tell people the name of your company, what your company does, and about the event and the things that you're going to be talking about this coming Wednesday.
Sure. The name of the company is Klecka Tax Resolution. Klecka Tax Resolution. Our phone number, you can always call us, 281-469-2444. That's 281-469-2444. Lines are open or answer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If for people who have problems, they haven't filed their taxes, have tax audits or collection problems with the IRS, so that's what we deal with. That's what Klecka Tax Resolution does. And so we help people who get in those type of situations and get them to a situation where they can get on with their life. So that's what we do. Now, the program that we're going to be doing is specifically geared more towards the self-employed, but even more specifically towards the real estate professional.
And the real estate professionals listening to this show all the time. And isn't it super fun to partner up with Lynn Riddle? She's incredible.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
I'll pay him later.
Thank you, Lynn. But anyway, what we do is how to get the IRS off your client's backs and look like a hero. We're going to be talking a little bit, if you're coming to listen to us talk about tax code sections and this type of thing and the latest tax trick or anything like that, that's not what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about some common sense things that you can do because you don't want to be a tax professional. You want to be a real estate professional. You want to do real estate. You didn't want to be a tax person, or you would have been a tax person. So we're not going to talk to you like, there are seminars out there for people that'll talk to you all day about taxes, and that's not what we're going to do. We're going to talk to you about some common sense things to do to organize, or some deductions that you may have not considered for taxes. But even more important, you run into clients every day. You run into the self-employed. You run into people with tax problems. They want to buy a house or they want to sell a house. We've had a lot of people, like, for example, who were inherited mom's estate, and 4 siblings wanted to sell the house. Well, 3 of them were great people, stuff like that. And the number 4 was the black sheep, and he had a tax lien. Couldn't sell the house because until that was resolved with the IRS. And so there are ways to resolve things with the IRS. And so we're going to go over some of the problems and some of the ideas so that when you run into these kind of people, you're going to say, oh, I know somebody that can handle that. I know a tax professional that can handle that. And then when that happens and your client gets that resolved so they can go back and get a house, for example, or sell a house, guess who they're going to come to? They're going to come back to you because you were the hero. You were the one that pointed them in the right direction. You just didn't throw up your hands and say, well, I can't help you. No, you can go see him. And then when he comes back, come see me. And then I'm going to make money and I'm going to look like a hero. And it's nothing more than helping people, with tears in their eyes that nobody else really wanted to help me, but you did.
And many times the real estate professional doesn't know who to call, which is why they may say, sorry, I can't help you. And in this case, that's why you and Lynn, with this great event on Wednesday, are helping people where you're going to be able to equip them and they're able to hire the right professional or direct them to the right professional like you, Mark Klecka. Right?
Absolutely.
Taxing Times.
Taxing Times. We're on every Saturday morning. We take live phone calls on the air. And so we like to talk about we tell people it's their show. We'll talk about any topic they want to talk about. So they come in with any particular tax issue or tax topic, and that's what we talk about on the show.
And Lynn, let's tell people in your area, if they want to go to this event, and I know you already have a lot of people signed up. Mark's talked about it on his show. So let's tell people what they should do if they're hearing it right now, today.
Today, if you would like to attend this seminar, just call me at 346-225-7993, or you can RSVP through email at lynn.riddle, RIDDLE, @stewart.com. Just call me or email me, and we'll make sure to get you registered so you can attend. This seminar is next Wednesday, June 5th, from 10 to 11 at Valley Ranch Grill and Barbecue, and that is on Spring Cypress at 249.
So people can hear great information. The real estate professional will now be equipped to answer the questions in the right way. And if I'm tracking here, they'll be able to have some barbecue too.
I think either barbecue or breakfast tacos. We always feed our realtors no matter what we do. But I would like to inject, Bill, that Mark also in this presentation is going to go over some tips for the real estate agent and how they file their taxes, some of the deductions that they might miss. Another big thing that he's going to cover is some of the tax laws regarding FIRPTA.
What is that?
Dealing with foreign investors in real estate. There are some tax laws that are a bit confusing. So like I said, we work to be a resource to our real estate community, especially the agents, so that they're more successful in their jobs and that they make more money.
If I could say it one more time, stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer or your Stewart Title representative. We have great people all around the city and around the country, for that matter, like Lynn Riddle. And Lynn, you were on the show a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if you know what I'm going to ask you right now, but you said something about how you approach your work with Stewart Title, and I think the words were something like, How
can I help someone today?
I love that. That brings tears to my eyes. That is incredible. I'm serious. Those are the kind of things that help anyone with whatever they do go forward. Great, inspiring things like that. Say it again.
How can I help someone today, specifically in the real estate community? If they're successful, we're successful, and then it all works good and we all make money.
How can people reach out to you, Lynn?
You can call me on my cell phone at 346-225-7993, or you can email me at lynn.riddle@stewart.com.
And Mark, as we think about the real estate professional, the real estate agent or broker, what would be one thing that you see that is something they don't do properly that they should do, just give them a sample of one of those
it's
things.
Like, I think we were talking about it, is organization of the records is the thing. I don't want to do this. I hate tax stuff. I dread every year, here it comes again. And so you need to have some type of system whereby you collect your receipts as you go, for example, for meals and entertainment or for supplies or whatever you purchase for the business, and have an organization type of system that we're going to be showing you to categorize these things so that when you get to the end of the year, you're not looking at this big shoebox full of receipts and full of things, and it's all in this big box or in a grocery bag. We've seen them in grocery bags, and you go, oh, I'm really not looking forward to going through all this. I have it organized. I know how to organize, for example, and do my mileage so that when I have it at the end of the year, I go, oh, it's there. I've done it. And I have something that's simple that I can do 5 minutes a day, organize my records so that at the end of the year, I'm not looking at that humongous task that I'm really dreading doing.
Being organized is so important, right?
Absolutely.
Give us a quick word. You have a book that is out this week. Let's tell them the name of the book.
My book this week that has just come out. It's on Amazon. Why the IRS Loves Real Estate Professionals.
Do they really love the real estate professional?
Oh, they do. Oh, yes, they do. Because
they're so nice.
Yes, they're so nice. But they usually are, because they're in a small business. And we talk about self-employeds in the book as well as real estate professionals, but it's geared toward more real estate professionals not being organized. And the IRS knows this. And so therefore, when you come in and you don't have your records all organized and everything like that, you usually don't get the results you want as far as making sure all your deductions are legit, supported and everything. And so you lose a lot of deductions. And they say, well, you don't have it. The slip has faded away. We talk about some simple things to do so that, you don't have that type of problem. But even more important, we talk about what to do, how to help self-employed people, for example, get a mortgage when their tax return doesn't show much income. There's some different strategies to turn a no into a maybe or a yes.
That's in the book.
Yes.
The book is called again,
Why the IRS Loves Real Estate Professionals.
And they could get it on Amazon.
Get it on Amazon. It's also online on Kindle. You can get it on Kindle. And I am hopeful that we'll have some maybe for the seminar if Amazon comes through and the shipment comes in. So we might have some there for people.
And once again, the seminar is this Wednesday.
June 5th.
And it's called?
How to Get the IRS Off Your Clients' Backs and Look Like a Hero.
And that is Wednesday at what time?
It is from 10 to 11 at Valley Ranch Barbecue on Spring Cypress and 249. Be sure to RSVP to meet.
Lynn Riddle, lynn.riddle@stewart.com. Just Google Lynn Riddle. If you weren't able to write that down, she is Business Development Officer at Spring, Texas, and he is Mark Klecka. The show is called Taxing Times. He's helping people with taxes all the time. You can hear that show every Saturday, 8 to 9 on 1070 AM The Answer. Hey, guys, thanks for being on the show.
Yes, thank you, Bill.
It's going to be a great event. I'll be there.
All right. We're looking forward to it.
We're coming right back. Stay with us, please.
Okay.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Call 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is here to help.
Welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Nampick. And now, how about a top-producing realtor? We have Jennifer Fuller with Keller Williams Memorial. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I don't say that lightly. Top producing, you really are producing some real estate transactions right there at Keller Williams Memorial.
It is my pleasure to help people every day. I'm just blessed to have the thriving business that I have.
Let's tell people a little bit, in case they're tuning in outside of Houston or wherever else, a little bit about Keller Williams Memorial, your company.
Well, we're the top full-service real estate company in Houston. We have over 700 agents. And we're just always on the cutting edge of training and innovation and technology. And I love being there because whenever things are moving and shaking in the real estate world, Keller Williams is always on the cutting edge and has figured it out and already has a class for us to take, a way for us to take advantage of that technology and always be going the extra mile for our clients.
And ongoing education in any profession is so important, and especially the real estate profession, because things are changing all the time, and even the marketplace is always changing. So many things to keep up with. How do you do that?
Well, when I first started in real estate, I had sold software for about 10 years, so I was very blessed to already have a handle on a lot of the technical pieces of using a computer and social media and those things. But when I began, I saw a lot of other agents who were really talented, who had been selling real estate for 20 years or 30 years, who were really struggling with the tech. So I just made a commitment to myself that I'm going to every class. I'm never going to be that person who's behind. And I think we owe it to our clients to always be on the forefront and the cutting edge. So I'm a Gen Xer. I came kicking and screaming to Facebook. I didn't really want to be on Facebook, but I'm proud to say I won a social media marketing award in the luxury space in 2017. For a house that I listed that went viral before we put it on MLS, and it sold in less than 24 hours.
So let's talk a little bit about that. When we think about marketing, people, when you get the listing, we hear about social media, what real estate professionals are doing. But as far as this case, let's take this example. So you had a listing, and how much was the listing, by the way? Just as
$1.2 million.
So $1.2 million listing. You get that. You could have easily just the pictures, open house, maybe MLS, marketing within your company, those things. But what you did with Facebook, let's tell people you took it to another level and it brought results.
First of all, I have probably about 1,500 Facebook friends. But what I did that made it unique is I did a lifestyle video. And this particular house had a 16,000 square foot lot, and it was immaculately gorgeous on the inside. So I wanted to show people the life they could have at this particular home. So what I did, I had my children playing kickball in the outside. I was going to hire actors, but of course, as it would happen, the seller wanted to put it on the market lickety split. So I used who was free. So my children were in the video playing kickball outside. They both got paid $5. They were thrilled. And the video has them playing kickball and then running inside like they're going to have lunch. And when people saw the video, it was different. It was unique. A lot of people know me. They know the neighborhood. They know the area. It got like 1,000 views in one evening. And when I was trying to promote the preview party just exclusively for realtors, another realtor called me and she said, "Would it be okay if I brought my client to the preview party?" And I said, "By all means, bring your buyer." And she did. And they wrote an over list price offer and it got accepted. And then when it went live on MLS the next day, a lot of realtors were kind of mad at me because they didn't know about it. You know, you got to be connected.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
How many minutes was the video?
Probably less than 3.
So well, and we hear about that all the time. What other social media things do you use or think are good for certain properties?
I think Instagram is fantastic. I really mostly stick with, for marketing, Facebook and Instagram. I think LinkedIn is really important to be able to kind of know where people are and what they're doing, and for people to know what you're doing as a real estate professional, and that they know that you are having some success and you're getting things done for your clients. Because, you know, people say an app can replace you, but an app is never going to replace stellar marketing, great negotiating, and somebody who's going to fix a problem when it comes up.
Keller Williams Memorial, there you say there's about 700 agents there or so, and you're in the top tier of those agents. In the top 10?
Almost every year, yes.
How do you do that? Now, whether someone's a real estate agent out there listening or they're in any other profession, I always want to know, how can you excel in your profession? And you're doing so right now. How do you do it?
By and large, the relationship is always more important than the deal. So if it's in my client's best interest to walk away or to do something different, I'm never about the sale. I'm about preserving the relationship and making sure that not only would they work with me again, they'll be mad at their friends and family if they don't use me also. Because if I work with someone and they wouldn't use me again or they wouldn't recommend me to their friends and family, then I have failed, even if the transaction closes.
And to be in real estate, you left the software profession. What is it that you love so much about real estate?
Well, I love that I'm really helping somebody. You know, when I used to sell $1 million software deal, I didn't get that warm, fuzzy feeling that I get when I help somebody, whether it's a first-time home buyer, a move-up buyer. I'm working on an estate right now. So what your first guest said really rang true for me about the children having things in a row so things can be sold. I like being able to help. I always want to provide value. And then my husband kind of makes fun of me. I love to negotiate. I learned that selling the deals that I did to my software clients. So that's easy for me. My husband always says I'm like kryptonite to salespeople because I'm just the negotiation is something I enjoy and I've learned how to do. And it merely makes me happy to know that I got my clients the very most money for their house if I listed it, or if they're buying it, I got them the very best deal they could get as a buyer.
Negotiation is so important and often overlooked as far as when we search for the real estate professional. And I have a question for you. I'm thinking about, you have a license here in the state of Texas, right? Let's just say, knowing what you know about your experience, all those things, let's say you were going to buy a property in another state. And by the way, what state would that be? What's your second favorite state? Assuming
Probably
Texas.
Colorado.
All right, let's say you're going to go to Colorado. You're going to buy a property. What is your checklist to look for the real estate professional to help you?
Well, I go to a lot of conferences where the heavy hitters are, like the luxury conferences. So I actually could name you 5 agents right now in different parts of Colorado that I would use because I know them and I've referred people to them before. But what I would say if it wasn't someone I already knew, I want to look at their book of business and see, how long they've been around. I want to call them and see how responsive they are. If I leave them a message or I text them or I email them, how soon are they going to get back to me? And what is their website look like? Because that tells you a lot. That's your online business card. So if you don't seem to be up to date with the technology and you're not returning phone calls, you're already not somebody who I want to pursue as my agent.
Those are good ideas. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Also, say with the next minute or so, Jennifer, what else would you like people to know?
I just want people to know that when they hire me, I'm going to look at their property and I'm going to look at their unique circumstances, and I'm not going to do a cookie cutter approach. If I have to do a certain event or if I'm going to do a video or a different campaign, I will make sure that your property is getting the right marketing. And if I'm working with you as a buyer, I am always making sure that we get the best deal possible. And I make sure I don't feud with the other agent. The other agent is the secondary client. And the best thing you can do as a real estate agent is learn how to play well with others in the sandbox, because you don't ever get a better deal when everybody gets their sword out and start fighting. So you have to make sure that you're somebody who people want to go under contract, because when it's multiple offers and all the offers are about the same, except for the first 2 agents are crazy, they're going to choose Jennifer Fuller because she's decent to work with. And I'm very tough, but I'm very fair. And I think that's important to have a good reputation within the community as well.
It really is. I just thought about this. Open houses. How important in the marketing of the home do you think an open house is?
I think when you initially go to the market, you've got to have an open house. And I try to always work my own listings the first time so we can see, have we priced the home properly? Have we marketed it properly? Do people want to come in and see it? And then after that, I usually try to have one of my colleagues work it, maybe a few weeks later if we're not already under contract, because sometimes you get a little bit better feedback. So people don't want to hurt the listing agent's feelings. So sometimes if I have one of my very talented colleagues work it, we'll get a little bit more honest feedback. And then the seller and I can come together and see if we think we've hit the mark, and if there's any adjustments that need to be made, we make them.
And recently, apparently, you've been involved, as I say, stay close to your Stewart title business development officer. You did just that recently, not only with Christina Sacco, but also with our sales manager, Roseanne Rogers.
Oh, we had the most magnificent event and could not have been done without Roseanne and Christina. It was called Cinco de Derby, and it was a fundraiser at one of my listings. It was benefiting the Houston Food Bank, and everybody wore their favorite sombrero or derby attire, and we had a wonderful time. We showcased a fantastic $3 million listing in Bunker Hill Village, and we raised money for a wonderful cause.
That sounds great. We're talking with Jennifer Fuller, Keller Williams Memorial. Jennifer, someone's out there listening and they say, I want to call Jennifer or reach out to her. What should they do?
They should call my cell phone, which is 713-927-9809, or they can email me at jennifer.fuller@kw.com.
The number again is?
713-927-9809.
There you go, 713-927-9809. I think your children are listening to the show, right?
Oh, well, yes, they will be, sure. They're very interested in me being on the radio today. So hello to Luke and Bryn.
There you go, Luke and Bryn. And thank you so much, Jennifer. We're going to take a short break. We're coming right back. Here we go. Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title and our next guest. So far today, we've already talked about taxes, income taxes for real estate professionals, but now for those that own homes, what about property taxes? We happen to have property tax superhero Ali Gilan right here. Ali, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Now, I don't say that lightly. Property tax superhero. One, because you look a little bit like Clark Kent when you have your glasses on. In addition, you're helping people every day with their property taxes and their business property taxes. So let's tell people about your company.
Well, our company was started in 1980 by my father, Hanson Gilan. The name's American Property Tax. We're in Stafford, Texas. We're a local company, and we help in all areas of property tax, residential, business, personal, business, and industrial. And we're a turnkey company, year-round busy.
And you're also helping Stuart Title doing presentations around at our various offices. I know you've been with Bree and Christina, and it's interesting, and I've been at several of them, and when you talk about just the document that people get every year about their property taxes, just that, I love that stirs the questions from the real estate professionals all around the room. It's fascinating. Let's demystify just for a minute or so that document that we all get as far as owning our homes and the values.
Sure. So that document usually ends up in your mail around February or March, and it's called the Notice of Appraised Value. It's your only chance to protest your property taxes if they are too high or you're paying more than your fair share, if you believe. And on that document is last year's market value, this year's new market value, and an appraised value. Now, a lot of people get confused between market and appraised, and I'm going to break it down very simply. So the market value that's on the Notice of Appraised Value is what the county believes that you could sell your house for. The appraised value is the taxable value, what you're going to actually pay taxes on. Now, why would they have two different values? Well, if you have a home as where you live, that's your homestead, your primary homestead, then you get a discount, a 20% discount, and your value may be different because the 10% cap that protects you from the huge increases may be slowly creeping up to your market value. So you may not be paying taxes on your full market value yet because of the homestead exemption.
No, it's not always the case, but for some of us, it seems like our property goes up every year.
Well, if you're one of
Why
those,
is that?
if you're one of those people that are lucky enough to have your property appreciating, I mean, that's a good thing. But at the same time, you want to make sure you keep your county in check and make sure you're not paying more than your fair share. So I'll give you an example. If you recently purchased your house, for example, for $500,000, and the district puts a value on your property for about $575,000, well, you just had a recent market transaction, and you shouldn't pay a single penny over that. Or
over the 500.
Over the 500, what you paid for it, right. Or, for example, you live in a neighborhood where pretty much all the houses are cookie cutter and everyone's value is, somewhere between, 500 to 505,000. All of a sudden your value comes out 610,000. Well, if you have the same house built in the same year, minus any remodeling that you may have done, if there's no remodeling done and you're pretty much the same as everybody else, that is an equity study, and you are paying more than your fair share. And you can present that equity analysis to the county, just saying, hey, look, these other 5 houses down my street, they're all valued about $500,000. Why is mine at $600,000? So you can also get it reduced that way as well.
A lot of people don't want to do that work themselves, people like me. So they reach out to professionals like you. Let's tell people, first of all, how they can reach out to you and who and when should they reach out to you? Okay,
well, it's always, first off, again, my company name is American Property Tax, and our phone number is 281-240-0101. And as far as reaching out, you should always reach out as soon as possible so you don't forget it for the next year. You don't want to put this thing off. You have one chance at it. The filing deadline is May 15th of every year, or 30 days after you receive your notice. So if you're like one of our mutual friends that hasn't received their notice yet, she may receive it in July, like July 2nd. If she receives her notice on July 2nd, her deadline to file is August 2nd. She has 30 days to file the protest. So it's imperative, if this is an area that's important to you, that you feel that you may be paying too much, get in contact with me or any of our competitors. We're all good people. We try to work hard, and we all have the same shot at it. Some have a little bit more.
No, I know what you're going to say. Some have a better success rate. And we can go ahead and brag about your success rate. Let's do it right now.
Well, my success rate's about 97%. I pretty much win.
That's a 9
most of my
and
cases.
a 7.
That's a 9 and a 7. And the reason is, when a client calls my office, I interview them. I interview their property. I take a look at it. In many cases, I tell them, listen, your value's fine where it's at. I wouldn't wake up the sleeping giant. And they appreciate that. They were looking for some tax relief, but when they find out that they're way undervalued, they get a better feeling. So I don't accept all cases. And so the 3%, the unsuccessful 3% is you're always going to have the client that says, I want you to protest no matter what. And, there's a few losses I have to take, but, not bad results.
Property tax superhero. Give us a quick word on the other thing before I say that is you're helping people with their taxes, but also, once again, the real estate professional must have, to be successful, I think, they must have the experts on their team. A great title company, a home inspector, all these things, home warranty. In this case, I bet a lot of times they don't think about someone like you helping with property taxes, but I think in the file at the closing, at the end of the day, they should, whether it's you or someone else, they should say, listen, when it's time, if you need property tax help, here's your person, here's your company.
Well, at a lot of these meetings I have with Stuart, or I guess you could call them classes, where I try to fine-tune the real estate agents into the property tax world so they don't lose a deal or they don't look like they're not quite knowledgeable in front of their client. There's many times where the real estate agent has to say, well, and then the client gets uneasy, like, well, I want the best of the best. So Stuart does a really good job at reaching out to their real estate agents and getting them trained up with, and I present the classes, and I enjoy doing it, and I get a lot of questions, a lot of interest, and there's a lot of times where I tell them their value's fine, right where it's at. Or, I give them the deadlines to file certain forms, like your homestead exemption, which is the single best exemption that, if you don't have it, you need to get right on it. And, you're allowed only one. So if you're living in a house, for example, in Houston, and you have a beach house in Galveston, well, you don't get that exemption on the beach house because your primary residence gets that. Or if you have 4 rental properties, well, they don't get that exemption. It's the one you live in.
With a last minute or so, what else would you like people to know, or what else should they know?
Well, the best advice I could ever give a homeowner is this: keep records of everything. If there was any damage done to your property by any natural disasters, i.e. flood, hurricane, lightning strikes, whatever, document it. Pictures, estimates, just everything. The more information you have, the better ammunition we have to go and get this thing reduced to what we believe would be fair market value as of January 1. So again, if you're planning on doing any kind of remodeling or anything, make sure you do it after the first of the year. That way you can go ahead and enjoy that remodel tax-free of charge, if you will.
You know what I'm going to say? Look up in the sky. It's a bird. No, it's a plane. Remember that for Superman? I love the beginning of that show.
I remember that. Yeah, I'm from planet Krypton, and yeah.
It's America Property Tax Service and the Property Tax Superhero. Ali, let's tell people how they can reach out again.
Again, our company name is American Property Tax. We do not have a website. Our business has been nothing but referrals, and again, we have a Facebook page, but it's not. Just give us a call. We'll point you in the right direction.
281-240-0101. 281-240-0101. We're coming right back. Thanks, Ali, with so much more. And here we go. He is Paul Compton with JLA Realty. Hey, Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
JLA, John Altick, that guy's all right, isn't he?
He's my boss, so I have to say yes.
And I like him a whole lot. I know he listens to the show all the time. And one of the things about JLA is you're opening up offices, I'd say all the time, but frequently all around the city of Houston. It's incredible. Let's tell people about your office.
Yeah, well, so JLA in general, we've been growing like crazy. We started in 2013 with 1 office and 22 agents, and I was lucky enough to open office number 14 here about a month ago. We're up to about 900 agents in the city of Houston, and office number 15 will be open here, I believe, in a couple of weeks down in Baytown. So we're kind of spreading out across the city as we grow.
It's exciting. Let's talk about this office number 14. That's the one that you head up, right?
Yes, sir. So yeah, it's in Spring. It's located on 2920. John kind of tasked me with choosing the next location. JLA was founded in Humble on the northeast side, and then we have a huge office in Katy. So we're kind of spreading out across the city. So, Spring was just a very up-and-coming area. I actually lived in Spring for a couple of years whenever I first moved to Houston, so I knew that area very well and was comfortable with that area. And we had, probably about 20 agents at the time, and just kind of needed a home. And so that's why I picked that area, and now we're up to about 30 agents in the Spring office.
And sometimes when we hear the word, the town Spring, sometimes people say Spring Cypress. So those, give people an idea, especially those that do not go in that area, that are in Houston or that aren't familiar.
Sure. And
especially those that might be listening from, say, another state that people like to hear about Houston from other states, and that's why they listen to the show. But if you were to describe Spring, Cypress, and then I want to make it confusing, but isn't there like Magnolia and Tomball? Tell us a little bit, deconstruct
so
that for us.
It definitely could be a little confusing. I mean, the idea was kind of like that north central area of Houston. So, I mean, part of this wouldn't technically be in Spring, but if you think like 1960 being on the south side, going up 249 up to roughly 99 and then back down to 45, kind of that box, if you would say, that's kind of what we're calling the Spring area, at least for JLA. And like I said, the office is kind of the home for the agents in that particular area.
When we talk about any of those areas, Spring and Cypress, usually we hear that it's really growing, that sales are brisk, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Is that still true?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's probably pretty true for anywhere in the Houston area at this point. I mean, the economy is good. Interest rates, they went up a little bit, but they're back down, to near historic levels. So it's a, that kind of definitely drives things. Spring is no different than any other, areas that you're going to see on the north side of Houston.
And what do you think makes Spring so exciting right now and desirable to people?
It's just a good central location. I mean, you can get downtown very easily. There's good schools throughout. You're close to the Woodlands. 99 has really changed things, I think, all across the north side. So you can get from, basically Kingwood over to Katy in less than an hour now. And that used to take quite a while. And so, in my daily work, I make that drive on 99 pretty much on a daily basis.
It's interesting you said 99 because in the last, 4 or 5 shows, at least 3 of them, people said how 99 has affected from Spring, Cypress to Kingwood, Katy even, and not to mention, I take 99 to Sugarland sometimes.
Yeah, it goes all the way down if you need to.
It's incredible what a road will do, isn't it?
Absolutely.
How did you all pick Spring as your location?
Like I said, there's just kind of a need there. John, he does give us a lot of freedom if you're on the management team. And when I made the goal of opening an office, we really kind of sat down and he really left it up to me and said, hey, you kind of need to identify, we kind of like a general area, but he kind of picked, left it up to me to pick the actual office location. So I spent about a year and I really wanted to find an area that it's really all about ease of access for our agents because we do have a lot of training for our agents and our offices, they have 24/7 access. So our agents always have a place to go meet with clients, have a nice conference room. And so the location on 2920 is kind of a major, east-west road there on North Spring and a nice area. Very, it's convenient to the Woodlands and 45 right there. So that was the thinking behind that anyway.
So from this office, as you mentioned, number 14, if you were to go south, where's the next JLA office?
So
Katy, I'm guessing.
I hate to say Pearland, but I mean, if you're going south, we're going around the city. So, I mean, we've got offices in Dayton, Humble, Kingwood, Summer Creek. Then we have one in the Woodlands, Spring, Katy. And then you go down to Pearland. And then, like I said, we're opening one in Baytown. We actually opened a brand new office in Conroe as well with our JLA collection, which is our program for, upper price luxury homes as well. So that's available to all of our agents. That's based out of Conroe. So, we're kind of on the north side, but we're working our way around the Beltway and 99.
So your efforts seem to be combination of management as well as helping people with buying and selling homes. Would that be correct?
Yeah. So I do a little bit of everything. So being a part of a management team and running an office, part of my daily responsibilities are to be there for my agents. I do have a lot of new agents that have never done a transaction before. So thankfully, my background, I was a teacher and a coach for 10 years. So I feel like I'm I'm pretty good at that side as far as explaining how to walk your way through the first transaction.
There's so much to know.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. And I think, real estate school does a great job of teaching you how to pass the test, but then you basically don't know much as far as running a business or handling a client once you get out. So that's kind of where I step in. And then, of course, I also run my own book of business, and I've been fortunate. I stay pretty busy with my own real estate business as well.
And let's tell people, as far as things that maybe one principle or two that have helped you be successful, even when you were a teacher, but now in the real estate world, what is it that you may do that keeps you straight and keeps the business coming and being able to help buyers and sellers and your management and being a part of the management team?
Yeah, I think just the founding principle of my business is just to be straight up honest with people. I always tell my clients that the way I do business, there's not going to be any surprises if I've done my job correctly. One of my clients last year, I helped them, they're buying their first home, which can be overwhelming. And he lovingly called me the dream crusher because he would find a house and I would point out, the obvious things that are wrong with it. And even though he had fell in love with the acreage and what he could do with it, the reality of it just didn't work out. But it's my job to tell him up front, because the worst thing that could happen to be a year or two down the road, he'd be like, well, why did Paul let me make this investment,
And that's a good point, because you are seeing homes all the time with different people, perhaps.
Yes.
But yet, those of us that may buy a home every 7 years or whatever fits our schedule, we don't see all those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the things, if I were to ask John what one of the things keys to his success, and I've done it before, and I like this because I think it is important for not just anybody listening, but for all of us here, and that is leaders are readers. You talk to John Altick, he's going to say he's reading several books a week. Actually, I don't know where he has the time, but I'm going to believe him. But he says leaders are readers, and reading books, like me, I like to have a business book going and even a fictional one at the same time.
Yeah,
that helps.
It does. And, John will be happy if I reveal this, but he gave the management team, he gave us all a copy of a book. It was The Millionaire Mindset, or The $1 Million Mindset, I apologize. And we all were due back a book report to him. And it's all basically about habits make who you are. And you have to be very, very careful about your habits, and the people that are successful, it really comes back to small, simple things and doing them consistently.
It really does. Paul, before we close out the segment, what else would you like people to know? And let's tell them how they can reach out to you.
Yeah, I would just say, if you're going to make a big investment or sell one of your biggest investments, just do some research on your agents, see what they're doing on Facebook, see what they're doing as far as their website, see how responsive they are, because those are the things that, as you work with them over the course of a month or two, that's going to be very important. My number to reach me directly is 832-291-8163. That's my cell. You can call me anytime.
Give them a call at 832-291-8163. By the way, I would like to be there when you all share your book report. I'm just saying, if you haven't done so.
Still working on mine.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you. Paul Compton, JLA, John Altick, if you're listening. We'll see you next time, and we're coming right back. Welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title. I'm your host, Bill Nampick. And here they are, Stewart Insurance, back again. Brittany Taggart, John Bramlett. Hey, guys, welcome back.
Hello.
Howdy, Bill.
Good to see you all. And we always want to talk about insurance and learn more, and also learn how you're helping real estate professionals and people far and wide every day.
Well, I really like how that's kind of the theme of today's show, and we were talking earlier about how Stewart's helping real estate professionals be successful, and how Stewart Insurance is doing that is just helping real estate professionals by educating them about insurance from the insurance perspective, about the real estate transaction, and even about the risk management tips that they can take on and implement in their business. So that's really what we focus on at Stewart Insurance as it relates to the real estate industry.
It's always exciting, John.
Well, and what we've tried to do this year and over the last couple of years is formalize some of those discussions. So we have a series of CE classes that we offer our real estate partners to enable them to, one, better understand insurance from a real estate perspective, but also be a better resource, as you mentioned earlier, for their clients. So we've got a real estate liability, reduce your risk and protect your license, property insurance essentials for real estate professionals, and Two Sides of Water.
Those are great classes. And as far as we're thinking even about the guests on the show and some of the content that has been brought forth, education is just so important for the real estate professional and all of us as homeowners and even buyers and sellers. We have to be on top of things. They are ever changing.
Absolutely. And I think I heard before is staying at the forefront and making sure we're not falling behind and staying current with our education. And I think insurance is just a part of the transaction. We talked about all these different parties. And even from an insurance perspective, we can take some knowledge there and help out these home buyer and home seller clients from that perspective. And not just from the insurance perspective, but also that very first class that John mentioned, the real estate liability. It's thinking about risks from a real estate agent's perspective and even a real estate broker's perspective, because the broker ultimately has that insurance policy. So it's in their best interest to help their agents act in a very risk management way. But also from the agent's perspective, protect their own license. It's their livelihood. So that's really where that class comes into play.
And by the way, you do offer broker any brokers out there listening, you offer broker E&O insurance all the time.
Absolutely. We are so look forward to having the conversation with our real estate businesses who are operating the real estate industry. We want to make sure that we have that conversation. We understand what risk they want to take on as a business and which ones they want to push off to the insurance company. And you mentioned broker errors and omissions, which is their professional liability. They are offering a service, so there's risk there. But then other insurances have come into play, like cyber liability policy. We've seen a lot of, and just other policies that we just want to have that broad conversation so they can view their insurance needs holistically. So absolutely, that is one of them.
Well, the cyber liability is super important. We're hearing more about that every day, and it's going to be, unfortunately, and it's going to be needed even more in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And as far as the classes go, we've already mentioned them. You've mentioned them. What if people want to have the class? What should they do?
So they should give us a call. We encourage conversations about everything, and this is absolutely one of those. So give us a call at 866-798-2827. You can ask for myself, Brittany, or John, and we would love to coordinate a class with your office or even coordinate it maybe at a local steward office.
That's right. You're also helping, as I say, the business development officer and our reps around the city. You're giving presentations that don't get rocked by a hurricane. You're helping people all the time. Once again, that number is
866-798-2827.
I love that number.
I do too.
John, what are some of the other things we should know about?
I think I'd like to reinforce a little bit about what Brittany said about the conversation. So whether we're working with our business clients or our personal clients, whether it's your E&O policy or your homeowner's policy, it's important to have that conversation and to make sure that you walk away from that, one, being confident in how your coverage is, but also being confident that you're properly insured so that when things happen, you know what the outcome's going to be. So we make the time and we look to work with folks that take the time to make sure that they understand what those options are. So as Brittany said so well, knowing how much risk you're willing to take on yourself versus how much risk you'd like to place on to the insurance company.
And it's funny you mentioned the terms properly insured. I have been a homeowner and have had a car since I was 16. I won't say how old I am. However, a long time. But I always thought, I don't know if other people think this, but I just always thought, hey, I'm going to pay my home insurance, my auto insurance. I never thought if I was properly insured until I talked with Tom Carpentier, the president of Stewart Insurance, who leads the company, by the way, in a magnificent way, 24/7, even when he sleeps. But until he used that term the first time, I thought, listen, it's more than just renewing the policy. I'm going to read the policy or have someone at Stewart Insurance explain it to me so I know if I'm properly insured. I don't want any surprises. But, oh, yeah, people should have flood insurance, by the way, too.
As we embark on hurricane season, we absolutely do want to get that message across. Consider flood insurance. It is absolutely different than other water damages that are in your home insurance policy. So please consider that.
Consider that. And if you'd like a flood insurance policy or quote, they can call.
Please call 866-798-2827.
And guys, what else should people know before we close out the segment here?
Well, there's a misnomer sometimes that, well, I'm not in a flood zone. Well, everybody's in a flood zone.
I would say so if you're in Houston.
Well, other than a few small places, small rural communities around the U.S., everybody is in a flood zone. Now, some are of less risk than others, but one thing that we've learned recently of roughly 40% of the homes that flooded at Harvey were homes that were listed as a less than risky flood zone. So one thing to keep in mind is, yes, you need it, and two, we're all in flood zones.
I agree. You should have the flood policy. There's no question about it. And One more time, the number is?
866-798-2827 or stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
And they could call that number in case they want to have a class taught by you guys, and it'll be great. She is back, Jennifer Fuller. Before we wind up the show, Jennifer, let's tell people what else should they know and how they can reach you again.
They should know that the app doesn't care if their house gets sold, but I do. The app doesn't care if they get a good deal, but I'll make sure they get a great deal. And they can reach me at 713-927-9809, or they can email me at jennifer.fuller@kw.com.
And Jennifer, if you were to guess, speculate how the year's going to wind up from a real estate perspective, what would you say?
I would say we're still going to have a very strong year. Interest rates ticked up and then they ticked back down, and still lifetime lower rates. It's still great buys out there. It's a great time to buy a house because we have more inventory than we've ever had. And I say it's a great year for buyers to get out of their rentals, for people who are having babies and need bigger houses to move up and to become part of the real estate community and start making their money work for them.
Very nice. Jennifer Fuller. Give her a call at 713-927-9809. Thank you, Jennifer.
My pleasure.
Mr. Paul Compton, JLA Realty. Paul, before we wind up the show, what else would you like people to know?
Yeah, just if you're looking for someone that is going to take the time to really explain the process and educate you on what you're getting into as far as buying and selling, that was my background, so I really enjoyed that part of the process.
And let the word go forth. The spring JLA office is open for business.
It is, absolutely. 100%.
That's pretty exciting. And you said the next office is going to be in
Baytown in about 2 weeks.
And when is John going to stop?
Well, he's got agents in Austin and San Antonio, so I don't think he's stopping right now.
I think that's very exciting. He is a driven individual, to say the least, as you are. Paul, if someone wants to reach out to you, what should they do?
Give me a call on my cell, 832-291-8163, or my email is paul, Paul, at moveuprealtor.com.
832-291-8163. And Paul, should people be sad that the show is ending at the time of broadcast?
No.
Exactly. And why? Because it never really ends. It's always at stewart.com/Houston. That's right. You can hear any and all the shows, stewart.com/Houston. Thank you all for being on the show so much. Thank you, Brittany, John, Jennifer, Paul, Ali, Mark, Lynn Riddle, everybody out there. And until next week, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Nampick. Once again, you can hear any and all the shows except show number 1 because we can't find it. But go to stewart.com/Houston. Stewart.com/Houston. We'll see you next week. Stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer and Representative. We'll see you then.